On my last trip to Barcelona, I found myself standing in the middle of a housing protest, and it completely changed the way I think about travel. Today, we're talking about why some of the best places to visit not be the ones that you've heard of. A few years ago, I was talking with someone who had just come back from Europe, and I asked how their trip was, and they said something that stuck with me. They said the places I was most excited to visit ended up being my least favorite part of the trip. And honestly, I understood exactly what they meant, because sometimes the places we dream about visiting become victims of their own success. The pictures are beautiful, the landmarks are iconic, the history is incredible, but when you arrive, you're standing shoulder to shoulder with thousands of other visitors trying to have the exact same experience. The restaurant you've been dreaming about has a 2-hour wait. The famous square is packed. The local culture feels buried beneath souvenir shops and selfie sticks. And that's why today we're talking about one of my favorite travel strategies: second cities. The places that often deliver everything we hope to find in a destination, but without the crowds. Before we dive in, if you enjoy travel tips that help you travel more intentionally and discover experiences beyond the tourist checklist, make sure you're subscribed to Cheryl's Travel Blueprint. And if you're planning a trip and want help finding destinations that fit your travel style, you'll find a link below to schedule a complimentary consultation with me. Now let's talk about why some of the best travel experiences happen one step away from the spotlight. A second city isn't necessarily the second largest city in a country. It's simply a destination that receives far less attention than the headline city everyone talks about. Think about Spain. Most visitors immediately think of Barcelona. But what if I told you some travelers come home talking more about Seville or Granada or Valencia? Think about Italy. Millions of visitors rush to Rome, Venice, and Florence. But ask seasoned travelers about places like Bologna, Parma, or Turin, and you'll often hear a different story. The same thing happens all over the world. Instead of Paris, consider Lyon. Or instead of Amsterdam, maybe Utrecht. Instead of Tokyo, consider Kanazawa. And switch Lisbon with Porto. These aren't hidden because they're inferior. They're hidden because they're overshadowed, and that can create incredible opportunities for travelers. Let's be honest, tourism is a good thing. It creates jobs, it supports local businesses, and it preserves cultural sites. It creates opportunities for connection, but when too many visitors concentrate on the same place, problems begin to emerge. Housing becomes less affordable for residents. Historic neighborhoods become crowded with short-term rentals. Infrastructure struggles to keep up. Local businesses shift away from serving residents and towards serving tourists. And eventually, the experience changes for everyone. Locals become frustrated, visitors become frustrated, and the very character that made the destination special begins to disappear. We're seeing this happen in places like Barcelona, Venice, Amsterdam, Dubrovnik, Santorini, and on and on. These destinations remain incredible, but many are actively searching for solutions because current visitor levels aren't sustainable forever. And as travelers, we can be part of that solution. And I actually witnessed this firsthand on my most recent trip to Barcelona. Barcelona is one of my favorite cities in the world, and I visited multiple times, and it's a place I genuinely love. But this last visit felt different, and it kind of brought my point home. One afternoon, I just happened to run into a demonstration taking place in the city, and people had gathered to protest housing issues and the rising cost of living. Now, housing affordability is a complicated issue with many contributing factors, but one concern I heard repeatedly was the impact of short-term vacation rentals, because lots of residents feel that as more apartments are converted into vacation rentals, fewer homes remain available for people who actually live and work in the city year-round, and as a result, housing prices rise. Rent becomes more expensive, and some long-term residents feel like they're being pushed out of neighborhoods that their families have called home for generations. Standing there watching the demonstration, I just remember thinking about how easy it is for us as travelers to see only one side of a destination. We see the beautiful architecture, the restaurants, the museums, the beaches, but people live there and they raise families there. They go to work there, and they experience tourism very differently than visitors do. It was also a powerful reminder that tourism doesn't happen in a vacuum. Our travel choices affect real communities, and I think that's one of the reasons that conversations about second cities have become so important. Let me ask you something. When you think about your favorite travel memory, what made it special? Was it because everyone else was there, or was it because you felt like you discovered something? Maybe a restaurant or a neighborhood, a conversation. For me, it's almost always the second. These moments of discovery, these moments when travel feels personal. And if it's that kind of travel that you enjoy, I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel. That's exactly what we explore here on Cheryl's Travel Blueprint. And if you'd like help uncovering destinations that fit your interests rather than simply following the crowds, feel free to schedule a complimentary consultation using the link below. Now let's talk about why second cities often create better experiences. The good news is that being a responsible traveler doesn't mean avoiding popular destinations altogether. Barcelona is still worth visiting, and so is Venice. And so is Amsterdam. The goal isn't to stop traveling to these places. The goal is to spread the benefits of tourism more thoughtfully. And one of the easiest ways to do that is by looking beyond the obvious choice. That's where second cities come in. First, there's space. You spend less time waiting, less time standing in lines, and less time fighting crowds, and more time enjoying the destination. Second, there's value. Hotels are often less expensive, restaurants are often less expensive, and experiences can be more affordable, which means your travel budget stretches further. Third, and perhaps more importantly, there's authenticity. With fewer visitors around, local life tends to remain more visible, and the market still serves residents. The cafe still feels like a neighborhood gathering place, and the destination hasn't been redesigned entirely around tourism. And that's often where the magic happens. You start to feel less like a tourist and more like a temporary participant in local life. And so let's make this practical. Instead of Barcelona, try Valencia. You'll find beautiful beaches, incredible food, fascinating history, and a more relaxed atmosphere. Instead of Madrid, you might consider Salamanca, one of Spain's most beautiful cities filled with history and an incredible university culture. Instead of Venice, you might think about Bologna. It has amazing food, beautiful architecture, and significantly fewer crowds. Instead of Paris, you could spend time in Lyon. Many food lovers would argue it's one of the culinary capitals of Europe. And for Amsterdam, think about Utrecht. Historic canals, charming neighborhoods, and a much more relaxed pace. The goal isn't avoiding famous places altogether, it's balancing them. Maybe spend 2 days in Barcelona and 3 days in Valencia. You could visit Venice and then continue to Bologna. So you can see the icons, but don't stop there. One of the greatest gifts travel can give us is perspective. And sometimes the best perspective comes from stepping slightly off the beaten path. The truth is, most destinations have more than one story to tell. The challenge is that many travelers only hear the loudest one. Second cities allow us to discover the quieter stories, the local stories, the unexpected stories, and often those become the memories we treasure most. If you have enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to subscribe to Cheryl's Travel Blueprint. And I'd love to hear from you. What's the best second city you've visited? Share it in the comments. Your recommendations could inspire someone else's next adventure. And if you're planning a trip and want help building an itinerary that balances iconic destinations with hidden gems, schedule a complimentary consultation using the link below. Because sometimes the best destination isn't the one everyone is talking about. It's the one you haven't discovered yet. Until next time, travel intentionally and stay curious. Don't be afraid to take the road less traveled.